MegaETH is most likely going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest launch of 2025. With over $1 billion worth of capital committed, MegaETH really is mega. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining what in the world MegaETH is, whether or not it's worth it at this point to have it on your radar, and of course, compare it to some of the recent launches in the space to kind of deduce whether or not it even is a good time to launch a cryptocurrency. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I want to start this video by just going over a brief TLDR on what in the world MegaETH is. I've created a graphic to break down a MegaETH against Ethereum because it is at the end of the day a layer 2, which means that it's built on top of Ethereum. They're not trying to go ahead and replace Ethereum. Instead, they're trying to complement it. And if you've used Ethereum, you understand that whenever the network gets congested, that it is very difficult to do quite literally anything, and it gets very expensive. We learn about that life cycle. I mean, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars just on gas fees alone, which I think is completely ridiculous. And so MegaETH wants to go ahead and be that layer to get transactions through. They want to be the execution layer. They want to be the arcade, the place that you go to go ahead and do things on chain. Whereas Ethereum is going to be that place where you're going to settle your transactions. Everything's going to be settled on Ethereum, but everything's going to be done on MegaETH. They have purported that they have speeds up to 100,000 transactions per second. They're saying their block time is practically instantaneous, which makes them competitive in the Web2 space, which is the traditional finance space. Their gas fees are near zero, and the way that they do their hardware is a bit concerning, but also at the same time, it is the reason that they're able to make it as fast as it is. This chain is best for real-time gaming. So if you're big into the gaming space, you're going to be big into MegaETH, consumer applications, DeFi applications, really anything that requires you to do things fast on chain. That's going to be exactly where you're going to want to be on MegaETH. But in Ethereum, you're going to want to do things like hold your money. You hold your money on Ethereum. You go ahead and have massive sums of capital. You go onto Ethereum because at the end of the day, everything is going to be settled on Ethereum. Now, what is the reason for MegaETH to even be on my radar or on really anyone's radar? It's this right here. It's the public sale. The public sale of this token was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, people had the opportunity to put a starting price of about 1 million FTV all the way to 999 million FTV. This thing got so oversubscribed, it was ridiculous. It had a 27x oversubscription. That means they were trying to raise $50 million and they ended up raising over $1.4 billion, which is absolutely crazy. And let me tell you, all that money was raised at the ceiling price. There was no such thing as a starting price in this sale. They ended up allocating, which I don't really like, the MegaETH subscriptions based on account quality. So whether or not you posted on X and you had a reputation in the space, you had on-chain history, those are the people that are getting allocations. I don't like that because I believe crypto should be fair. At the end of the day, that's the ethos of crypto. But the way this chain carries itself is very reputation based. So if you're big into cryptos that are big into reputation, that are big into getting things done, then you're going to be big into MegaETH. I like the concept. I actually think this is a crypto that I will more than likely be participating in their ecosystem. Because as it stands in the crypto space, there's really not a lot of places to do things quickly. I mean, there's a lot of places that say they do things quickly, but these guys actually get the job done with the way that their batch process works. So the way that the validators work on this chain isn't like normal chains. On normal chains, you have transactions that happen. And these validators have to remember every single transaction, which takes up a ridiculous amount of space. Now, with MegaETH, these validators don't need to remember this stuff. All they have is one guy, one centralized authority, which, yes, this is pretty much a centralized coin, so I'm saying it right now. They have a centralized authority called a sequencer that stores everything. I mean, I'm talking about all of that data. And then they push it out. I mean, this is a very strong machine. This is an overpowered machine with crazy specs that stores everything on the chain. And then they push it out to these validators, which these validators can be run by laptops. I mean, like you could run it on your laptop right now if you had one. It's that easy. It's not very difficult to do, which on other chains, it's a lot harder to do. And these guys, the validators, all they need is to witness. And if two of them agree, then it means that the transaction goes through. So the execution layer is on this centralized sequencer, and the validation layer is on these like laptops that are decentralized all over the world. This is the reason that this chain is able to be as fast as it is. It's not trying to pretend to be some kind of crazy decentralized layer. Obviously, there is the off chance that the sequencer, something happens to it, and there's a big problem moving forward. Centralization always carries its risk, but as long as the centralized entity is okay, then we don't need to worry about that. This is easily one of the fastest, if not the fastest chain out there right now. Ethereum has been looking for a home to go ahead and have faster L2s that actually work, and MegaETH is trying to be exactly that. But the main reason, let's be honest, that we're even excited about this thing is just the amount of money that is being flown into this chain right now. They are doing genius marketing. I can't even judge them because it's genius, the marketing that's happening here. They are partnering with Athena, which Athena is one of the most successful stablecoins out there right now. One of the most successful. They are just growing so fast right now. I want you to just see the growth in terms of market cap on this thing. It's absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. It went from nothing to, even right now, it's at $7 billion in USD stablecoins right now, which is absolutely insane. So they've partnered with them to make their own stablecoin called USDM, which I think is genius because most L2s, the only way they make money is by charging an extra margin on these sequencer fees, which makes things a heck of a lot worse because the only way they make money is if people pay more. However, with USDM, they're able to go ahead and lower fees for users and have a more expressive design space for applications. So I think that it's great that we're not charging the end user on gas. Instead, we're going ahead and trying to get yield from users that are holding USDM. And they're going to go ahead and have a $250 million raise based on people that have stable coins on other chains like Ethereum. If you port it over to the MegaETH mainnet with USDM, you're going to be able to have, of course, benefits. So if you have stable coins just kind of sitting around, of course, there's always a centralization risk, and don't take it for gospel. But it is still an opportunity nonetheless, and MegaETH right now is really set out to be one of the biggest TGEs. Would I buy this thing on launch? What I have to say is let's go over the other big launch that happened very recently. And that one is Monad. Monad is incubated by Coinbase, and Coinbase is a big boy out there. Coinbase is one of the biggest exchanges out there, and they launched this coin. It has $2.56 billion in terms of a fully diluted valuation. At the current public sale FDV of $999 million for MegaETH, it does seem like this coin is going to launch at a higher price than the public sale was, which is a good thing. We do want to see a successful public sale that increases confidence in the ecosystem, but it's also going to cause a lot of sell pressure because these guys are going to make money. And if they make money, they're going to be selling their tokens. The first couple days are going to be absolutely terrible for people that are trying to establish long-term positions. I would say if you're trying to get into the MegaETH ecosystem, instead of just buying MegaETH itself, you kind of lost that opportunity. What's better is to get into campaigns like this one. For example, if you have stable coins, you get USDM, you get the USDM yield. That's great. Maybe you want to use the actual ecosystem and make money there. I feel like that's where the real opportunity lies. And the opportunity isn't just on like buying MegaETH the second it launches and just praying it goes up. Because the reality is it's going to have the same exact thing as Monad, where it's going to get an absolute boatload of sell pressure for the first few days. You could begin to look at a long-term position if the coin begins to stabilize after a couple days. The fact is that Monad, MegaETH, these cryptocurrencies have gotten a lot of traction and raised a lot of money. And so they're able to actually survive through the adversity that the markets have given it. And if MegaETH launches at a higher price than 999 million FDV, which is the ceiling price for the public sale, then that's going to be great confidence moving forward for the cryptocurrency to have success. So I would want to see what ends up coming into the ecosystem, just how much capital and stablecoins comes, because Ethereum right now is the #1 place in the world to have a stablecoin. I mean, you can look it up yourself on USDC.cool. I'll show it on the live stream and on the video here. We got $51 billion on Ethereum alone. So if you can even get a small slice of that onto MegaETH, then of course, this is going to be a massively successful chain. And we all are for network effects. Network effects are what built Ethereum. And Ethereum is always going to be the settlement layer of crypto. So why not try to be the arcade of crypto? And that's exactly what MegaETH is trying to do. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Are you going to be buying MegaETH? Are you going to be doing anything in the MegaETH ecosystem? I hope I helped explain the concept for you. As always, stay classy, and I will see you in the next one.